The power of motivation for entrepreneurs, unlocking success and growth. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm with the marketing department at IdeaPros, and we're talking about motivation, which everyone needs in their life every now and then, but particularly entrepreneurs. So I have Fred Cary, CEO at IdeaPros. Hi, Fred.
Hello, hello. I would say for entrepreneurs, we need motivation 24/7.
We do. It's true. It's hard. It's hard to do what we do. And so I know you have some information for us about motivation, but I think you're going to take a look at a little bit about the psychology of it too, right? But I'm not going to dive into it. I will let you do that.
Oh, why don't we do that one?
Why don't we let Fred take it over?
Hey, so all you entrepreneurs out there, we have our ups and downs, and sometimes it's hard to get up and get going. We've spoken about that recently in one of our prior shows. But I want to talk about the motivation, starting with the theoretical sense of it, and then getting into the impact of motivation on what you're about to do with your career and the tips and things, strategies that you can have to make it better. First of all, under the theory of motivation, you have Maslow's theory and Frederick Heisberg. They had a two-factor theory. You can look those up. It's really about self-determination and understanding what it takes on the inside to get the results you need to get on the outside. We have intrinsic motivation and we have extrinsic motivation, that the things on the outside that kind of drive us. But the intrinsic part of it is really what's going to be important for your entrepreneurial success, no matter what it is that you're doing. So when we talk about motivation coming from within, for an entrepreneur, you really have to talk about things like the motivational influences on your goal setting, your perseverance, your decision making, the risk taking that you do. All of that really is bundled up around a cube of motivation that helps drive you forward. And if you don't have the motivation to do it, a lot of those things start falling apart. So why don't we discuss some of the strategies in order to help boost that motivation? Because motivation is like fuel, and it can run out. Like you said, we need it. It's a fuel that we all have to have. And how do you keep that going, and how do you increase that? There are a lot of strategies, again, as I've talked about, having the goal setting part of it, but also things like visualization and positive self-talk, building a support network around you, and celebrating small wins. That's really what needs to take place in order for you to be able to move forward. Because if we're waiting until we get to the finish line, then you're not going to be celebrating anywhere along that journey. And that is going to make you suffer. And that's going to make your motivation go down. And when that happens, your chances of winning are going to be a lot less.
And you talk about micro victories in your course. And I know that was a big part of what people took away from the course. And that actually one of our partners said was life-changing to, look at these little these, you call them micro victories in the course, and that you have to celebrate them. And I know I actually have a sheet where I'm tracking little wins, because I forget about those little wins every now and then. So if I have one, I just write it down real quick, and then I can come back to it later, because you'll forget about them, and then you'll feel like nothing's being, you're not making any forward progress, but you are.
And when you go out and buy your second notebook because your first one's all full of little wins, and then you'll know you're well on your journey, right? So there are like common obstacles that we all face, and things that we have to overcome. We have things such as burnout that I talked about before, things like setback, the fear of failure that we all have. Sometimes the fear of failure prevents us from moving forward, from trying, because we're afraid of what will happen with the result. Those things all lead to kind of this lack of motivation or loss of motivation. If you had it and it's gone, it's probably some of these things that are really driving that needle down towards empty, and we got to move it back up in the other way so that we can maintain your drive and your momentum. That's the only way you're going to get to the place that you want to go to. So how do you?
I have one last thing because I know you're going on to the next one right there. You mentioned positive self-talk, and I don't. Do you ever listen to like CDs that you go to, but not CDs anymore, but like audios at night or subliminal messaging at all? I'm just curious if you do.
I not so much, but
He's
that's
like,
not
I don't
really
trust it.
self-talk. But
No, no, no. The reason why I say that is because I actually have one that I listen to that teaches you self-talk so that you're
oh,
reprogramming what you're saying to yourself. So it becomes unconscious decisions in how you think of the world. So I just was curious because I never know with Fred, like maybe he surprises me, but
well, I haven't, but I will. If you send me a link, then I will. I'll listen. I'll listen to anything. That's another factor in motivation is this continual growth process. Always be open to learning new things. Always be open to reaching outside of your boundaries, and that's going to help you on the motivational side of it as well. Because when you reach outside your comfort zone and you succeed, that's going to give you more strength, more courage, more self-determination, and more self-respect. And those things keep moving that needle towards the full place where you really want it to go. So all of this really boils down to establishing this environment that fosters motivation. And the environment fosters motivation that will help you, that will help build your culture, and it will also help build your organization or your small team if you're just starting out. Um, Effective communication, taking leadership, doing things like recognition and rewards, all those type of things. When you have people working with you, start building this growth mindset. And when you have that, like Tessa said, with those micro victories, when you have those small things that you celebrate on a daily or weekly basis, then that motivational needle is always near the full side of it. And then you can move forward in a lot better way than you can when you're feeling all by yourself, when you have the self doubts, when you are afraid of failure, all those negative things that are going to just cement you in one spot instead of enabling you to go forward. So you want to have an environment that really fosters that. Think of it as a garden. It has to have plenty of nutrients, it has to have water, it has to be fed regularly, and from that, your garden will grow. If you don't have that, you're going to end up with a garden full of weeds. We don't want to see that for you or any of us.
perfect. I love it. I hope that your garden's pretty well fed, Fred. You're always nurturing us. I know that at IdeaPros, and I hope we're nurturing back to you.
Yeah. Oh, you are. And IdeaPro is a very difficult company to be in because, as we've said many times, we have many partners. There's always fires. In fact, you were putting out a fire just
Yes.
before we started recording, right? Somebody was having a problem with somebody hacking their website, and you had to
They
go.
just can't get into Facebook. It's all good. It wasn't a hack. That's the good part.
Oh, well, that's good. But nevertheless,
False alarm.
well, how about this morning? Were you putting out another fire this
Yes,
morning?
yes, I had lots of fires. The fires are just normal for us at IdeaPros, I'm sure, but
Right. So when you have one startup, you have plenty of fires. When you have a few hundred, then you have a few hundred fires
Mhm.
every single. So in conclusion, I would say this about motivation. It's really the driving force behind entrepreneurial success. It's the fuel that enables you to overcome obstacles, and there's plenty of them. And it's the fuel that helps you explore strategies for nurturing and motivating culture within your organization. It is also uh, the fuel that allows you to push boundaries that you wouldn't otherwise push. And it's the fuel that really enables you to realize your ambitions and make them all come true. The way that we do this is you understand the theories behind it, and then you implement really effective strategies to navigate through all these challenges that we're going to have throughout any type of an entrepreneurial career, even near the end of it. I mean, look at Elon Musk. He had his SpaceX blow up on him for the time where he thought it was going to really circumnavigate the Earth, and he took that as a very big positive, because he said we learned so much from that incident, and he was, richest man in the world, and he's still having challenges all the time. It just never ends. So you have to learn how to take it, harness the power of motivation, and unlock your potential to achieve remarkable successes. Okay. When you have unwavering motivation, you can inspire and shape the world around you, and you can drive innovation, economic growth, and positive change.
Wow, it sounds fun what we're gonna do there. Like, no, it's true though. When you're an entrepreneur, you're making a huge impact, and it can be pretty lonely, and everything seems a little bit overwhelming. So I know when you're going through these, that having that support network that Fred mentioned, IdeaPros has that for our partners, but we want, we have this here on Facebook for you guys. So we hope that you use us. Let us know when you're running into problems, and that way we can put more valuable content like how to avoid that, how to get your power of motivation back as an entrepreneur. So thank you, Fred. We appreciate you as always. And I'm going to go ahead and finish us out. So we are live with you every Friday at noon Pacific time. If you want to get reminders, just hit the bell, and or you can subscribe, and we'll text you when we go live. We'd love to hear from you in the chat, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Bye.